So we will start today's webinar. We will have two presentations. Mr. Hisham Eser from Dell DPS team is together with us. My name is Hakan Dinçel. I am the regional manager of GlassHouse. I am both supporting Africa and Middle East region. So I am both in Qatar and in Johannesburg. Today we will have a session about modern workloads and backup. Dell has announced a new appliance, PowerProtect Data Manager Appliance. This is a complete new appliance with backup software and hardware in it. So it's going to be a 1 hour session with a couple of minutes starting with GlassHouse and then continuing with this PowerProtect Data Manager and backup appliance presentation. Okay. I think my screen is able to be seen, right, Mr. Isham? Okay.
Yes, I can see your screen.
Who is GlassHouse? We are actually around 120 people. We have 90 plus engineers and 20 plus account managers. It's a multinational team with a multinational vendor background. Our focus is mostly the large enterprises in the region. When I say region, it's Middle East, Africa, and Turkey region. So mostly we support finance, telco holdings, and public companies, the largest enterprises in this region. Our services are focused on business continuity and data backup, SAP, managed cloud services, and security services. That's what we offer as GlassHouse. We have strong financials and we are founded in 2004, so it's nearly 20 years. We work with some of the vendors like SAP, Dell Technologies, VMware. So we are a very focused partner. In the hardware part, we only work with Dell Technologies. We are titanium partner of Dell. We have offices in Turkey, in Africa, and in Doha, Qatar. From Doha, Qatar, we support the whole Gulf region, and from Johannesburg, we support the Africa region. So a couple of items about GlassHouse. We are one of the best service delivery partners of Dell Technologies. We are awarded 7 times out of the last 9 years with Service Delivery Excellence Award by Dell Technologies. We support around 250 companies in their backup environment. As today is a backup session, I would say GlassHouse is very experienced. Personally, I am also experienced. In the last 16 years, I have managed more than 400 backup projects myself. So we are, and I am very experienced. We have done more than 1,500 backup assessments for the companies in the last many years. We have more than 25 Dell EMC backup consultants in Avamar, Networker, PPDM, IDPA. So we are highly focused on Dell Technologies. Every year we handle more than 8,000 Dell EMC customer calls related with Dell products. And we do deployments and give support in MEAT region, Middle East, Africa, and Turkey, as we just talked. So as GlassHouse, what we do, mainly we do Dell EMC and Fortinet. We do managed cloud solutions, which is backup as a service, monitoring as a service, container as a service. We either do these services in GlassHouse Cloud or we do it in Microsoft Azure or Amazon. We give managed security services, and we also do a lot of SAP projects as GlassHouse. So it's a very short presentation. I just wanted to summarize who we are, what we are doing. So the floor is yours, Mr. Isham. Welcome again.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, you're able to see my screen now, right?
Right.
So again, thank you, Mr. Hakan, for giving me the opportunity to speak to GlassHouse and to the audience about our technologies. And it's very important for us today to mention an important launch of our new appliance and new software releases. It's very important for our customers as well to listen to our stories and our latest releases in the technology field, and especially in the backup and data protection field, which we are working closely with GlassHouse Gulf as a titanium partner for most of our deployments in the country. So for those who do not know me, my name is Hisham Mizher, and I am the Data Protection and Cyber Recovery Solutions System Engineer here in Dell Technologies Gulf. We are working closely with our partner GlassHouse to provide services for our customers, as Mr. Hakan mentioned, to leverage the best technology and the best experience that they have in the market for backup and recovery from Dell Technologies and from GlassHouse as a service team. Today, our session titled Providing Data Protection to High Value Workloads, which is the most important factor in our data protection portfolio. And with the new release of our PowerProtect Data Manager, PPDM, and the appliance DM5500, it really shows how Dell Technologies has invested a lot of time and engineering and budget on continuous development of the data protection portfolio. It is still considered a major factor in the IT field and in the infrastructure field, where data protection is the last working area for a customer to depend on if something happens or if they want to restore for compliance reasons and for security reasons. It's very important for us as well to mention how our data protection solutions and how Dell Technologies, in a nutshell, can drive business to fulfill the aim of you, Mr. Customer, to keep your business running, to be able to protect your logo, to be able to protect your infrastructure and environment and employees and your business in a whole. So today we're talking about a very big question. What really drives humanity and what really drives humanity to grow and develop? To answer such a big philosophical scenario or philosophical question, I can answer in a very small statement. It is how Dell have worked with major organizations from all fields in the past many years to be able to give value to the businesses. Your business, you have, Mr. Customer, you know your business, you know what you're developing. However, you're highly dependent on IT. And we want to help you to transform how IT leaders and how IT teams and board teams are always looking into the IT field. We want them to know the value of the data and the value of the technology that they're dependent on, and their business is developed and growing faster than before. The value of the solution and the value of what we bring into the field and we bring into the environments is based on how digital transformation have led major transformation and major changes in the environment. And this transition has produced areas that we as Dell, we want to help you address, and we want to help organizations to succeed in transforming what you call the data into a value. The value of this is to be able to manage and to solve the challenges that you have. One of these challenges is having a complex environment, unlocking what we call data sitting in silos. We want to help you grow more, yet have the most out of the value of this data sitting into multiple environments. New storage systems, new data protection systems come into place, new projects. You want all this to be managed by the same team, but the management and the board team needs to understand the value of what they are investing in. And you as an IT decision maker, you might need to give this in the perspective to the top teams that this is the value of the solution by adding a security layer around it and confidence around it. You want also to keep with the growth of your business, but IT is highly dependent on the business, and the business is highly dependent on IT. If the business grows, the IT grows. Then the security perspective comes into the picture. You want to safeguard your data and being able to create what we call a business resiliency and a business impact out of the solution that you are providing from IT to your other team members. Organizations face what we call numerous issues in ensuring that their data is protected. Their solutions or the data protection solutions need to be robust enough to cope with the challenges that we have mentioned in the previous slide. We want to have to impose security around the modern architecture of the technologies. We want to solve the challenges which has been faced by many years and by many customers, like growing and the impact of complexity. And we want to keep up with the massive data growth. This is an important factor. But the very most important factor here is to be able to help decision makers and IT decision makers in specific to shorten your RTOs and RPOs and to have more survival time objective, to be able to survive from an attack, to be able to survive from an audit exercise, to be able to survive from a need to recover your data. That's an important factor for us, and this is where we're helping our customers to resolve these challenges. And just to mention some of the statistics, 64% are not very 64% of IT decision makers are not very confident about their data, if it is being protected completely, if it is recoverable, and their data across the multiple silos or multiple environments that they have. They might have introduced also the cloud. It's very important for them to have a holistic view over their infrastructure and data protection in the emerging workloads that they have in their infrastructure. Whether you sit in one of these business sectors, you are a customer of energy, of insurance, of software, of banking, you are heavily dependent on the IT, and the attackers and the cyber attackers have been massively working on being able to reach out to customers and maybe compromise customers' organizations. And every 11 seconds, there is a cyber attack. It's costing a lot of money, and it's costing organizations a payment of $6 trillion that is expected to happen in 2023. And absolutely, this is very catastrophic for any organization. If you are a customer in the healthcare or in the financial service or oil and gas, we speak about every company in every industry that needs a data protection strategy, and that needs part of the strategy to determine how business will survive after an attack or after a recovery need. Medical records for the healthcare are very important, and they are the key elements of the business to continue. Financial services are also very highly important and highly dependent on the quick communication between the IT components of your applications. Pharmaceutical, all these fields are highly dependent on IT. And if you ask me, Hisham, why are you mentioning all this as an introduction? I'm mentioning this because I want to shift the focus from only the need for backup to the value that we want to create out of this backup. Yes, we all understand that I need a backup, but we want to understand that this backup is your last line of defense that you want to survive and to have a restoration mechanism for your business to still grow and still have your data protected and your logo protected. So now we get into the introduction of our comprehensive portfolio for the data protection. It's very important for us to mention that for customers who know about Dell data protection portfolio, they would know about a software called Networker, or it's another software called Avamar. For us, it's a suite of products. It's a set of products. It's a stack. The data protection suite will provide you a comprehensive software end-to-end solution built to protect any workload that you have running on-premise or on the cloud. And the offering from our side is very flexible. You can deploy the solution that suits you. And the options are very ideal to some customers' environments. They match and they comply with customer environments. If you have NAS, if you have the need for remote offices protection, if you have a need for snapshots, let's say, or even the most complex assorted environments of applications and storage, you need to have some advisory and some data protection centralization around it. Our data protection suite includes PowerProtect Data Manager, Avamar, Networker, Recovery Point for virtual environments, and absolutely the PowerProtect Data Manager, Networker, and Avamar suites for data protection. So let's start with the definition of how Dell PowerProtect Data Manager delivers the significant data protection environment for you. It's a software-defined data protection, automated discovery, deduplication, operational agility, and what we call self-service for IT governance as well for physical and virtual environments. We speak always about the workloads that the solution needs to protect. And in our situation, PowerProtect Data Manager connects and protects Oracle databases, SQL, Exchange, SAP HANA, Kubernetes, which is the new trending for containers, and absolutely still dependent highly on virtualized environments and file systems. That's the solution. That's the orchestrator that will show you how to protect the latest and greatest technologies in the field. From the slide that you can see, it can integrate with a lot of cloud environments, with virtualized environments, as well with file systems, and absolutely with self-service approachability and databases compatibility. One of these features that we have introduced in the last couple of years, and very important feature of our solution, PowerProtect Data Manager, is called transparent snapshots. And just to give you some history about the snapshots. Snapshots was usually introduced in 2002, and then that was on a guest level approach. Then we reached to a level where VMware was introduced in 2006, but there was no granularity. And then we were highly dependent on the VADP technology in 2009 to be able to protect applications in the IO module that they have provided, or VMware provided, by applying or having a proxies and proxy management in between the client and the data storage. But nothing was fundamentally changed or has changed since 2009. Up to that level, all companies, all businesses and data protection solutions were able to integrate with the VADP technology, take a snapshot, and then process that snapshot. And just to put things into the right technical perspective, how do snapshots work? Any data protection solution will create a point-in-time representation of that VMDK or of that VMware file. Then we process that, we check for deltas, and the external agents will determine what are the deltas from the previous backup to today's backup. And the snapshot then is deleted after taking the backup and transferred it to the storage. And that's history. I'm still speaking about history. But what were the challenges, and from the field, what we have realized for these and about these challenges? Bigger virtual machines with bigger data sets will require a lot of backups, and then snapshots take longer time. It must be released immediately after taking the snapshot, because the production is affected by the fact that you're taking a snapshot. The traditional way, using VADP backup, will determine the deltas, and if the block is huge, it will take a longer time to be able to detect the deltas and release the snapshot. And then sometimes you feel this, and if you're experienced in the data protection field, you would feel that the system is stunned or it's in hold mode. There's definitely something wrong, and it appears that your backup solution is still holding the snapshot and still waiting for the snapshot transfer to happen. All of this put a lot of pressure on virtual machines, and it put a lot of pressure on backup administrators to be able to protect more and more workloads and more bigger, what we call environments. But then that challenge needed to be resolved. And this is where Dell Technologies came into the picture. With all the technologies and the experience that we have for a long years, we have created something that we call transparent snapshots. Transparent snapshots is a protection mechanism where we can create a bitmap in between the memory and the disk. And in that layer, we are able to take a snapshot of our own bitmap. It needs less infrastructure, so no proxies, no data movers. It's very efficient to integrate with our own DDBoost technology and data domain, and you are able to create the source deduplication algorithm. It has a faster response, and you don't need to stun a virtual machine or to hold a virtual machine in a snapshot mode, because it's completely transparent, as the name says. It has higher performance from all the backups and all the backups vendors as well. And we are the only company who has the data protection mechanism with this patent that is called transparent snapshot. All your workloads running on virtualized environment do not need any extra proxies or any extra agents to develop this technology. And when we reach to a level that we spoke about, transparency, it's very efficient for high workloads and high important workloads running on virtualized environment. And then the customers started moving into the cloud. Then the same approach happens on the cloud because you need this agility and this flexibility. You enable this and you enable the feature for higher performance, better than the traditional VMware mechanism of VADP technology of protecting, and this requires no additional infrastructure, as the name says. Then we reach to a level that we want to resolve another challenge: databases and databases that are being protected on the production environment. We want to have some direct integration and direct protection from the database level to the data domain level, which is the landing zone for the data. You want to be native and efficient and have the capability for the DBA to help you protect his own database, the way he knows it, and the application direct is the feature for it. As the name says, it is a direct integration between the enterprise application, the database, which allows the database owner to have control and visibility of their own backup, to be sent to the data domain as a storage, and they do not need to go through all the backup admins to enable faster recovery. They can do it themselves. But what is the benefit out of this is that you are consolidating all your backups on the same landing zone, and you can create extra layer with the cyber recovery solution. That is another session that we have discussed before. But the backup team and the backup team management will interface the features as easy as just presenting the volume from the data domain to the integration application that we have. It is a native integration. It's supported. It is efficient. We have 0-day agreements with Microsoft, with Oracle. We know how the data protection algorithm happens, and we directly protect this, and we have higher bandwidth reduction a percentage on this, reaching 98%, and up to 50% faster backups from the application database layer to the data domain approach. And that's a feature very important, and we want to resolve the DBA request usually for the backup from the backup team. One last challenge that we wanted to resolve in the PPDM release, or the PowerProtect Data Manager release, is to have, when customers have a huge NAS environment and they want to protect it, but then there is pressure, a lot of pressure on the backup and the backup admin to finish a backup in a very efficient way and a very fast way. What we did is that we created a solution that is called Dynamic NAS inside the PowerProtect Data Manager. Dynamic NAS, it provides optimized performance for the unstructured platform. Using Dynamic NAS, the NAS assets and the NAS servers with multiple streams to auto-load and auto-balance the traffic from the NAS server to the data protection layer. This resulted in multi-streaming, no dependency on the NDMP protocol. That's the traditional way. And we provided almost 3 to 5 times faster backups than the NDMP backup, the old technology of providing backup for NAS. Indexing and search for the metadata is very high efficient on the PPDM, and we reach to a level to perform auto-load balancing between the streams. Once you add more streams, you are able to protect more and more and faster NAS environments. It's important for us to mention how the technology works. And the dynamic NAS is an important feature for us, where we create dynamic slicing. A stream of data coming from the NAS could be a long block, but you don't have to wait for all the blocks to be processed in line. What we do is that we created what we call feature PowerProtect slicing for NAS. The dynamic NAS feature will protect and automate the protection of the NAS by slicing the data chunks into multiple slices and providing this to multiple streams. This approach makes it faster for the NAS protection to happen. It is storage agnostic. It is auto discovery of all the slices. You are able to protect dynamically all the data on your NAS server, and you reach to a level you have direct tight integration with PowerStore and PowerScale and Unity systems, NAS systems from Dell. So for customers who have PowerStore, PowerScale, or Unity, they can benefit from the feature of the dynamic NAS by completely having a dynamic throughput, high throughput, and high integration with those storage devices to be able to protect your NAS environment. The slicer partitions the NAS assets dynamically, and they start being sent into multiple channels to be sent to the backup, and the slices will be added later on the environment. Those all features that I have mentioned up till now are very important for us, and this is the latest in the technology. But then we reach to a customer, and we know from customers that they don't only want to have a software layer, they want also to depend highly on the technologies that they have used for many years, which is the data domain. So recently, and this is the huge announcement that we're doing today, recently we announced the data domain, or the Data Manager 5500 appliance. This Data Manager 5500 appliance comes from all the experience that we got in the past 20-25 years from data domain, from the data protection field, plus the need for new workloads protection for highly efficient workloads. And we want to leverage the releases and the features that you have seen in the slides previously. So the new release for the PowerProtect Data Manager appliance, it's a very fast deployed solution. In under 30 minutes, you are able to have an appliance with the software layer inside it to simplify the deployment and management. In this appliance, we are delivering very powerful enterprise data protection capability for mid-sized organizations. It's an all-in-one solution. So you don't have to have a software outside the appliance. It's an all-in-one solution that offers a complete backup and recovery deduplication algorithm inside the same solution. And we speak about having a complete data protection solution. All the fields are inside this platform. Today, the release is between 12 to 96 terabyte usable, and it can grow in place from all the configuration that you have. You can just enable a license and you can grow your system from 12 to 96. And just to mention, in the next quarter, we will be able to upgrade this solution to 256 terabyte of usable capacity. It's very important to mention it's a highly scalable solution, but it's a new release. We're still building this on top of a single unit, a head unit with the storage, software, and hardware layers together. So how do we position this solution, and why we are saying that at launch, it's only for medium businesses, commercial markets, because we're speaking about enterprises or organizations that have data less than 100 terabytes. And it's very important for us to mention, because the scalability of the solution up to this level is pretty much what we call limited up to this moment. It has two flavors. Today, you can start with 24 terabytes as a light model, or 96, or get the 96 model, and then absolutely reach to a level that you can expand it slowly with a license upgrade. It is physically applied on your environment. Once you get it inside your data center, it is all the physical components are there, and we reach to a level that you can expand it with a 12 terabyte expansion procedure. We speak about licensing, and it's some importance for some customers, how we license and how we focus on the simplicity of the licensing for the model. The model is very important for us, and it's a new release, and we want to keep up with the latest trends in technology and in the cloud. So we support perpetual licensing metered by back-end terabytes and delivered in a single file. The capacity license will be offered in form of 12 terabytes increments, which allows you to license the usable capacity from 12 terabyte to 96 terabyte. You are entitled also for cloud capability. That includes cloud snapshots, cloud tiering, and being able to protect in the cloud as well, and no separate licenses are needed for that. And the system enables customers to quickly deploy the appliance to start immediately protecting their high efficient workloads and high demanding workloads like the open systems and the databases and the containers. The DM5500 system will be shipped with default 12 terabyte usable capacity disks and it can be activated slowly, 12 increments as well. Customers can have an appliance with 90, let's say, days of a trial period, and then they can activate it absolutely on the next day. This is very important for us because having an appliance with 90 days trial period, it's very much convenient for a lot of customers because they want to try and then buy, or try at least the software and the capabilities that we have mentioned previously. Some of our customers would be interested in the hardware of the solution. It's very important for me to mention how the hardware is applied and is designed. The DM5500 performs, the basis is PowerEdge server from Dell R740XD2 with two 20-core cascaded CPU. So it has a lot of CPU and a lot of RAM inside it to be able to serve infrastructures, medium infrastructures reaching to 100 terabytes or 96 terabytes usable capacity. It has SSD drives to be used as cache tier for faster response and fast processing and instant access. SSD drive are also used to run the protection storage operating system, the file system, the NVRAM, and absolutely for higher efficiency. And then all the disks for the data landing zone will be from the SAS disks or the shelves that we have in the SAS disks inside the appliance. And just to show you an overview of the solution, how it might be built in your data center, the shelf, you have a front drive enclosure in the PowerEdge R740, includes two drive enclosures. They are telescopic to each other. They are parallel to each other inside the same appliance. It can be easily slid out from the main chassis, allowing users to easy access and replace maybe a default or a faulty disk, or insert new disks without having to de-rack or re-rack the whole system. That's very important feature and factor, especially in the cloud approach and the cloud mentality, because you want the agility to be able to insert and change faulty hardware on the drive and on the line while the system is up and running. We speak about higher efficiency and capacity down to 12 terabytes, reaching to 96 terabyte. You are able to upgrade the kit immediately, and the system will show in your data center as 2U server, nothing more. That's the agility, that's the efficiency, and that's the capability of the solution to be able to run in the next 30 minutes in your data center. And lastly, I want to mention a little bit about the software layer, because the software layer is also important. You take a look at the diagram and you see on the right side, we have the data management layer, the cloud management layer, the monitoring layer, the search engine, manageability, the file system, and infrastructure. All of this comes on top of the hypervisor that is built inside the appliance. The protection storage layer will provide the storage and the file system. And we speak about the efficiency of the data deduplication that you know about. And this is a highly integrated and operating system, highly hardened system, file system by Dell. The PowerProtect Data Manager Appliance software works in conjunction to deliver an integrated user experience with the capability to have calling home, data resiliency, telemetry, and alerts as a simple appliance with all the networking and all the components inside it. And last but not least, we speak about the hardware layer. We speak about the Data Manager Appliance DM5500. The Manager Appliance, or the appliance, completely manages the data protection from inside, so you don't need to have an external software aside. It is designed for operational simplicity and agility in mind. The Data Manager Appliance and the features that we have presented in the beginning of the session will enable you to protect your traditional workloads, your Oracle databases, your Exchange, your SQL, SAP HANA, and file system as well. And the appliance itself supports search, reporting, proxy, snapshot catalog, dynamic NAS, and as well the instant access for virtual machines. This is an important layer that we speak about completely with Data Manager and the data protection layer. And last but not least, the same system will connect to the DR, to the cloud, to have long-term retention. It is capable of having long-term retention to the major hyperscalers like Google Cloud, AWS, Microsoft Azure, and obviously if you have an S3 bucket from Dell as well in-house, you can also tier off to that. Plus, you can have a cloud disaster recovery by replicating to the cloud as well. And this summarizes my my session and my slides for the DM5500. I can give the time and the floor to Mr. Hakan to manage the questions if we have any, and it's important for me also to listen to your questions if you have to.
Thank you, Mr. Hisham. Actually, Dell is number one in the world in terms of backup. I mean, Dell has the biggest market share in terms of software and hardware in the world for a very long time. Dell is one of the leading Gartner backup provider. It's always on the upper right corner in the last maybe 25, 30 quarters. So, I mean, that when you look at the revenue of Dell from the backup solutions, it's more than $1 billion. So it's a huge market for Dell. That's one of the reasons Dell is investing a lot on the backup solutions. So one of the output of this investment is the DM5500, I mean, PPDM backup appliance. Dell had other appliances before, like IDPA, like Data Domain. There are other backup softwares as well, but this one is the latest one. So thank you for the presentation. It's important for everyone. So this appliance is just a beginning appliance, which is until 96 terabytes of capacity. So it's mostly for the small and medium business companies. But it's a good one. I mean, you don't need to buy the software. You don't need to buy a hardware. You don't need to go and install. It's just a bundled appliance. You just go open the appliance and configure it in the next 30 minutes. So it's good for the backup environments. And it's something you don't need another environment. You just back up inside the box. I believe these are making the backup work much easier to manage, easier to install, and easier to upgrade for all of us. So thank you for the presentation. We have questions. I see one of the questions from Mr. Thomas. Do you see that question, Mr. Hisham?
Yes, I've answered the question. Mr. Thomas is asking if we have integration with AppSync tool. Yes, the Dell AppSync tool is a part of the portfolio. So yes, the DM5500 has direct integration with the AppSync tool.
Okay. We can have other questions as well. Does PPDM has integration with cyber recovery?
Yes, definitely. That is a very important question, and thanks for the question. Cyber recovery solution, a brief about that, or a session about that we have done previously, is the vaulting the data inside a secure, isolated, and machine-led and AI algorithm vault or data vault. PPDM is part of the portfolio in Dell, and we protect the data inside the data protection and inside the vault as well. If the orchestrator is PPDM, Networker, or Avamar, the whole DP suite is compatible with the cyber recovery solution.
Okay, when we look at the Dell backup portfolio, we see Avamar, we see Networker, we see PPDM, as you also summarize in your presentation. When is the right time to go with PPDM, and when is the right time to go with Avamar or Networker? What do you advise?
Yeah. So exactly, this is also a very important question, because sometimes customers get mixed up in the form of which one should I choose from the DP suite. It's always based on the customer requirements. And Mr. Hakan, you would understand that not every customer is the same, and everybody has different infrastructure and different workloads and applications. PPDM was built on the latest technology to protect three main areas, plus also the traditional workloads. But three main areas are important here: Kubernetes and containers. This is an area where we want to leverage the capability of PPDM as a software and the M5500 as an appliance. When you need a high NAS environment to be protected, dynamic NAS is a feature inside PPDM. And the last thing, to be able to leverage transparent snapshots. These are the features that I mentioned today in my presentation. Transparent snapshot is the capability of having a bitmap and not stunning or not holding the snapshot for a long time using the VADP technology. So customers with workloads having SQL, Oracle, this is known. SAP HANA, this is known. But with Kubernetes, I would immediately go with PPDM. If a customer would need with highly dependency on virtualized environment, but not too big environments, he might go to Avamar and choose Avamar. Networker would also cover a lot of workloads, but not Kubernetes. So it's dependent, heavily dependent on the customer environment, and the differentiation between them is only the supportability of some workloads between one application or another.
Mm-hmm. And when we look at the backup environments, if it's highly virtual machine VM environment, normally what we see is if it's hundreds of virtual machines, you need to install a lot of virtual proxies, which means that the proxy server requires CPU, requires RAM, requires disk. So it's a lot of power. So can we say that if it's a PPDM appliance or DM5500, I do not need to install 4 proxies, 5 proxies. I do not need any of them.
No dependency on any proxy and no hardware or software requirement from the client side, due to the fact that we have abstracted the layer between the client and the storage, where we sit inside and where the RAM is writing to the disk. This is where we take the snapshot, and this is where the transparent snapshot capability with PPDM is highly efficient. So you said it right. Once it's virtualized environment, we go and we prefer to have the PPDM as an appliance, no external pressure on Mr. Customer environment.
So normally, the companies compare the backup solutions with their costs. This is $5, this is $6, but something they don't consider is after they purchase the software, they need hardwares, they need CPU, RAM, disks to function these softwares, right? So when it is PPDM, the customer has very little need for hardware. They don't need that expensive virtual proxy hardware. That's what
definitely.
We say.
Yes, definitely. No pressure on the customer environment, and PPDM can resolve the solution of big workloads and big virtual machines.
Okay. When we look at PPDM, PowerProtect Data Manager, there are 2 options. One of them is software, the other one is appliance. So depending on the customer needs, the customer bot can go with the appliance, the M5500. They can only buy the software as well, right?
Yes, the software is part of the DP suite. So the customer would buy the DP suite in a nutshell, and they can install it on their virtual machine. And they need a backup storage for that, which can be a data domain. In a standard situation, software on a VM and data domain as a hardware, that is a solution that we can offer to the customers. Other customers would require and benefit from a all-in-one integrated appliance, which comes with the software and hardware all together in the same appliance. This is the one, the DM5500 that we mentioned today. But you have both flavors and customers can choose from.
Is there a roadmap for an appliance or software? When do you think the customer will continue with data protection suite, which includes these all solutions? And when do you think they can go with an appliance like the DM5500?
So from today, they can start with the DM5500. It is our flagship now, and we are using it, and we are having one in Qatar as well for POCs with you, GlassHouse. The good thing is that from today, customer can choose to go with an appliance flavor all in one, if it fits his environment, unless there is a requirement, let's say, for 1 petabyte of space. So we would go with the software, and the data domain will stay on a 1 petabyte storage landing zone. The differentiation is much up to the customer, and they can choose what suits you. The roadmap is to expand this and to have the appliance, the M5500, being scalable to 0.5 petabyte or more than that. Well, let's see in the coming future, inshallah.
Can we say that if a customer already has data domain, for example, in their environment, it would be better for them to use data protection suite, these softwares, so they can bundle, their software with the already purchased already the data domain in place.
Mhm.
If it's a new environment, if or the data domains are all complete, the technical refresh is needed, or there is no such storage, it will be better to start with the appliance. Of course, it depends on the environment, how big the environment is. Can we say that?
So exactly, you are totally correct. And also to add on this, today, if a customer has DP Suite license, let's say 10 terabytes, and they have a data domain, and they are working on Networker, but their HR team brought a new project for them, which is based on containers, and they want to protect it. Only software can protect that is PPDM, but they already have the license. Should they ask for a new license? I believe not. They can immediately go and use PPDM as a software and protect that application container or what have you, and integrate with the data domain that they have. It's a software, it's a license that they have already bought. The only thing is that we have just to take care of the gap between how many terabytes that they have and the new application. But since they already have DP Suite, today they can leverage and they can use the PPDM as a software. That's okay.
Okay. Thank you, Thomas, for joining the session. I mean, if I am a customer, sometimes I would prefer data protection suite because the suite includes AVMR, Networker, PPDM, every kind of solution, and it seems very flexible because I have these many softwares. When I go with PPDM appliance, it's PPDM and it's appliance. It's somehow seems a little limited. I mean, or to that solution. What would you say about this?
So I would say,
clear?
Sorry?
Am I clear?
Yeah, I think I understood your question. It's the fact that it's very simple. They can deploy it easily. That's one. But there's no limitation. There is a limitation when it comes to the customer that if they don't have, let's say, Kubernetes, or they don't have a need for dynamic NAS or transparent snapshots, and they're still using Networker, and they are happy with the solution, then they can continue with Networker. There is no complexity in that. New customers would prefer new applications and new systems, and there's where we can apply PPDM. But if a customer reaches to a level that there is no other way but to have to move to PPDM because they are moving, let's say, to Kubernetes, it's important for them to move to PPDM. There is no complexity and there is no limitation in that. A lot of investment have been done and engineering has been done on the PPDM as a software and as an appliance, and customers can benefit from it today.
I think the biggest power of Dell comes as Dell has a variety of solutions. I mean, if you have only one solution, I mean, you try to fix all the problems with that solution, but not every problem is same. Not every customer is same. So when you have a suite of products like data domain, like IDPA, like AVMR, like PPDM, like Networker, when you have a bunch of software solutions, you have the option of fixing that problem with that specific solution, with that specific software. I believe this is one of the most powerful parts of that solution. It's not just, I mean, one key opening. It's impossible. You cannot open every door with one key. So we have different case for different doors. So it depends on the customer, the needs and expectations. I believe in these terms, PPDM is also a good fit for these kind of needs. It's another product on the portfolio. It's the last one. I'm very excited for that one as well.
Us as Dell as well. We're happy to offer help to our customers. As I mentioned, we have the appliance, the M5500 with GlassHouse team, which will be arriving soon in Qatar. It's also important for us to work with you customers to do a POCs and to leverage the new technologies to showcase how the solution will help you in being able to protect your workloads and leveraging the new technologies. And if you have any challenges, we can resolve them immediately. And the appliance, it comes with a 30 to 90 days trial period. It's immediately installable. In the next 30 minutes, we are able to protect your workloads. So yeah, this is just an offering or an approach for our customers in the region to be able to be close to them, appliance in country, and we are able to help our customers in protecting their business critical applications.
And I think this is a very important one. The appliance is released in December. It's so new and it's coming to GlassHouse as well together. So any company who is interested with to try this solution, they can write to me, they can contact us, they can email us. So we can plan a demo with this new appliance in your environment. This is for the audience. Please write us if you will want to try this appliance in your environment. Yeah, I think that's all. Thank you, Mr. Isham. It was a very
thank you so much.
Informative presentation. Thank you. And thank you for the audience as well for joining the session.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.